Hello, welcome to another story time with Miss Bunny. Today we will be reading The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lessmore by William Joyce. There is a short film based on the book, and there will be a link if you want to watch it. The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lessmore by William Joyce. So the book was written by William Joyce and illustrated by William Joyce and Joe Bloom. Morris Lessmore loved words. He loved stories. He loved books. His life was a book of his own writing, one orderly page after another. He would open it every morning and write of his joys and sorrows, of all that he knew and everything that he hoped for. But every story has its upsets. One day the sky darkened. The winds blew and blew, till everything Morris knew was scattered, even the words of his book. He didn't know what to do or which way to go, so he began to wonder and wonder. Then a happy bit of happenstance came his way. Rather than looking down, as had become his habit, Morris Lessmore looked up. Drifting through the sky above him, Morris saw a lovely lady. She was being pulled along by a festive squadron of flying books. Morris wondered if his book could fly, but it couldn't. It would only fall to the ground with a depressing thud. The flying lady knew Morris simply needed a good story, so she sent him her favorite. The book was an amiable fellow and urged Morris to follow him. The book led him to an extraordinary building where many books apparently nested. Morris slowly walked inside and discovered the most mysterious and inviting room he had ever seen. It was filled with the fluttering of countless pages, and Morris could hear the faint chatter of 1,000 different stories, as if each book was whispering an invitation to adventure. Then his new friend flew up to him and landed on his arm. It held itself open as if hoping to be read. The room rustled to life, and so Morris's life among the books began. Morris tried to keep the books in some sort of order, but they always mixed themselves up. The tragedies needed cheering up and would visit with the comedies. The encyclopedias, wary of facts, would relax with the comic books and fictions. All in all, it was an agreeable jumble. Morris found great satisfaction in caring for the books, gently fixing those with fragile bindings and unfolding the dog-eared pages of others. Have you guys read comic books lately? I'm sure you guys read a lot of fiction books though. Sometimes Morris would become lost in a book and scarcely emerge for days. That's what I used to do. My brother used to want to go to watch movies, and I would say, nope, I'm staying in my room and I'm going to read all day. And he thought I was weird, but it kind of felt like this. And it was actually really fun to read. Morris liked to share the books with others. Sometimes it was a favorite that everyone loved. Other times he found a lonely little volume whose tale was seldom told. Everyone's story matters, said Morris, and all the books agreed. Can you see how some people are black and white, but after they start reading a book and they're happy, they get some color on them? At night, after all the stories that needed telling had been told, and everyone had settled down to their proper places on the shelves, the great big dictionary would get in the last word. Z. It was then that Morris Lessmore would once again write in his own book. He wrote of his joys and sorrows, of all that he knew and everything that he hoped for. The days passed, so did the months. and the years and years. And Morris Lessmore became stooped and crinkly. But the books never changed. Their stories stayed the same. Now his old friends took care of him the way he had once cared for them, and they read themselves to him each night. That's really true, you know. I still read the same books from when I was in 4th grade, and it's still the same, it's still just as good. Then one day he filled the last page in his book. He looked up and said with a bittersweet sigh, "I guess it's time for me to move on." The books were sorry, but they understood. Morris put on his hat and took his cane. As he went to the door, he turned and smiled, then waved goodbye. "I'll carry you all in here," he said, and pointed to his heart. Do you have favorite books that you still remember and you hold on to? The books waved their pages, and Morris Lessmore flew away. And as he flew, he changed back to the way he'd been that long ago day when they'd all first met. The books were quiet for a while. Then they noticed that Morris Lessmore had left something behind. "It's his book," said his oldest friend. Inside was Morris's story, all of his joys and sorrows, all that he knew and everything that he hoped for. Then the books heard a small, expectant sound. There, in the doorway, was a little girl. She looked around with wonder. Then something fantastic happened. Morris Lessmore's book flew up to her and opened its pages. The girl began to read, and so our story ends as it began, with the opening of a book. That's Morris's book from the beginning. Did you like that book? I really like it. It's a very beautiful story because I personally love books. I have hundreds of books. I think you guys probably like books too. If you keep reading and you find those few books that are your favorites, they can stay with you for the rest of your life, and they'll stay with you forever as your friends. So if you have time right now, try to read some more books, okay?